Listeners beware, you're in for a scare.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to Nightmare on Fear Street, an R.L. Stine podcast, and I'm your host, Zach.
And I'm your other host, Meg.
And this week, we read The Girl That Cried Monster. Oh, God. There's someone here. There's someone in the room with me. The calls are coming from inside the house. Oh, my God. Oh, it's just Addison.
Oh, no, please, no. I'm so scared.
Oh, what are you doing with that knife? Oh, my God. Oh, thank you. You cut our cherry pie.
I sure do love cherry pie and a damn fine cup of coffee.
Yep. Yes.
Damn good coffee and hot.
This entire, okay, low-key, this book for me was, I just set this in Twin Peaks automatically, just because the place is called Timber Falls. So this week, we have Addison from the Cryptid Keeper podcast. How you doing this week, Addison?
Doing great. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, it was very fun. I went back for a rematch with good old Bigfoot to do capoeira time.
Yep.
And as I was trying to fight Bigfoot, Addison stopped me, so...
Because Addison loves Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's Bigfoot and I love each other. We love each other very much.
So we never got a rematch. We'll get it eventually, but not today.
Maybe you guys can solve your problems in a diplomatic manner instead of resorting to capoeira every single time.
So like woodland espionage?
I meant like talking about it like grown-ups.
Oh.
I meant more like Woodland Lincoln Douglas debate.
Lincoln Douglas. Maybe.
I was on debate team in high school very briefly.
So what type of podcast do you do?
Well, that's a big question because there's more than one podcast, but like I guess the one I co-run that I do is with my dear friend Alex Flanagan, where we talk about cryptids and folklore and creatures and creepy critters from all around the world.
That's super radical.
It's fun. It's a good time. I'm also on the No Sleep podcast, where I read a lot of scary stories. I'm also on The Death of Dr. John Parker, where I play a rich old woman who's in charge. Many other things. Yeah.
Sounds like a full load.
I've been listening to The Death of Dr. John Parker. That's pretty good.
It's a cool show. It's a really cool show. How do you feel about me being a 55-year-old woman?
I've spoken to you and I know what you look like. I find it hard. It's sort of like when you're like a kid and you find out that all of the Looney Tunes are voiced by Mel Blanc and then you can't unhear it.
Oh yeah.
I think I would be able to buy it more if I didn't already know you.
Okay, but guys, I swear to you, I saw a monster.
Did you?
And I needed to tell you about it. I saw a monster. I swear, I wouldn't lie to you.
This isn't like those other times.
It's not like those other times I lied about seeing a monster. This time I saw a monster and he had like a big open mouth and he ate flies.
So Addison, how was your spooky week?
Oh man. It wasn't very good. I went to the movie store and I bought all the Scream movies in a box set used for real cheap, and it made me real happy. And then I watched the first one last night again, and I remembered that it's one of my favorite movies, and that was nice, and it was spooky, and that was great. Sorry. This is Goosebumps adjacent, but also a little bit of a sad thing, but it's also Goosebumps adjacent. I had a cat who was very old. It's fine. She was very old, but who was actually named after the cousin in the Mummy books, the Mummy books in the Goosebumps series, the cousin Sari. I had a cat who was named after her, and she actually passed away a couple days ago, but it's fine. She was old. But Goosebumps related news.
Well, this episode will be dedicated to Sari the cat.
We'll have a rendition of In the Arms of an Angel, but with the Goosebumps theme.
Yeah. Yeah, just...
She was a good and spooky cat.
Isn't that what all cats should be? Good and spooky? Steal the breath out of babies?
That's exactly true.
Meg, how was your spooky week?
I actually have a very, to bring... This may be, tonally inappropriate after the dead cat, but I have, a funny animal story.
No, do it. Fix it. Make it better.
If you've been listening to this show for a while, you know that I am a Sydney wildlife carer, and I had 2 baby ringtail possums in care and 1 baby brushtail, and they both recently I released them.
Yay!
And the ringtail was actually Nugget, one of the ringtails that I had. I got her on the day that we recorded Curse of the Mummy's Tomb.
That Thug Life, Nug Life?
Yeah, Nug Life. She and my other ringtail were in their little... I made a nest for them with like one of those hanging planters, and I put some stuff in it, and then they slept in there. And then I had the brush tail is still in the cage, but we just leave the door open so she could come and go as she wants. And so we didn't find her in her cage for the past couple of nights, so we just thought, oh, well, that's fine. She's just moved on. She's moved on to bigger and better things. And the two little ones were still crawling around in the tree where I put the nest, so I figured they were sleeping in that bed, and Sheila had gone off to do other things. Sheila's the brush tail. But last night, I went out there to put some food, and I see the two ringtails eating out of their little support feed food bowl, and then the nest twitches. And I was like, oh, is there another possum in there? And I expected it to be like, because I'd seen another, a mother possum, another ringtail and her baby running around in the yard, so I figured like maybe they were in there. I look in, and Sheila sticks her face out, and it turns out that Sheila has kicked the ringtails out of their nest, and she lives there now. And I went out this morning, and the two ringtails were like huddled in the fork of the branches up higher up on the tree, just like with leaves around them. And then Sheila's just hanging out in this comfortable ass basket with all this coconut stuff in it. I've just put a video up on my YouTube, and I am gonna tweet it. And I made this like really stupid thumbnail image of like a brushtail possum pointing a gun at a ringtail, and the caption says, "She steal the house."
All the bases belong to Sheila?
Yeah, all the base belong to Sheila. And she's a bad child.
She took it.
She
Cuckoo birded the baby brushtails.
She evicted them.
So they didn't pay their... They just didn't pay their rent.
They didn't pay the rent.
Yeah.
She did the cuckoo bird thing.
Oh.
That's so sad.
Well, it's not really a cuckoo bird because now she's not, like, demanding that they take care of her now.
Oh, they're not asking for reparations?
No, she's not. She's not. Well, you know, cuckoo birds lay their eggs in the nests of other birds, and then the cuckoo hatches, and then the other birds are forced to take care of it. So she was really committed to being a cuckoo. She's bad.
She's a home wrecker.
She's a home wrecker, literally, because she threw out some of the coconut fiber and, like, put a big hole in the roof. She is awful.
She wrecked their home.
She wrecked their home.
Sheila, how could
Sheila
you?
is bad. Anyway, and fun fact, it's pretty appropriate because she is actually named after Drew Barrymore's character on the Santa Clarita Diet. And stealing someone else's house is just the kind of impulsive thing that Sheila Hammond would probably do. So, Zach, how was your spooky week?
So I got to hang out with my friend David, and he's the guy that did not write Why I Quit the Babysitters Club.
The guy who will be spared by
yeah,
my
the guy
rage.
that you cursed for so many years that he honestly didn't write this book. Really cool dude. And then right after that was actually National Author Appreciation Day, and I was actually very close to the Westwood Cemetery. So I went to go pay my kindly respects to one of my favorite authors, Ray Bradbury.
I love Ray Bradbury.
So it's one of the best things. So I get there, and I had been there a couple times before, and it was really easy to find his grave this time, was because a bunch of people left stuff for him. Because it was just right after Halloween, so they had a pumpkin with Fahrenheit 451, like the 451 on it, a King Kong statue, some candy, some balloons for Dia de los Muertos.
What about a Halloween tree?
Oh, no, don't have the Halloween tree there because the Halloween tree is actually Disneyland in Frontierland.
I didn't know.
Yes, so for all the people that ever go to Disneyland in November, October, when we have our Halloween decorations up, we actually have a tree in dedication to Ray Bradbury that's a Halloween tree. So it has little pumpkins and stuff. I read the Halloween tree every year right next to that tree.
Nice.
I love Ray Bradbury.
So
the first Ray Bradbury I ever read was that the short story where the baby kills its family.
Oh, you mean the assassin?
The Small Assassin.
The Small Assassin. That's a really good one, though, because for me, one of my favorite books of all time, Something Wicked This Way Comes, and I'd always move a lot, so I always have Series of Unfortunate Events, Something Wicked, and The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, so I'd always bring those with me.
I love that.
It's one of those things where it's just, all those books have a special place in my heart. Other than that, I got to hang out with the Terror Twins, Matthew Scott Montgomery and Daniel Montgomery, who do the Welcome to Deadcast. So we spent a good time talking about Goosebumps. This is actually a bonus episode that should be out by now, and it really was a lot of fun. I didn't think we could talk about Goosebumps for almost like 2 hours, but we did.
I mean, that's what we do every week, isn't it, Zach?
Oh yeah, most definitely. We actually brought Addison on because she's an expert in cryptids, and she said that she saw a monster this week.
I did. I saw a monster. I swear. I know I lie all the time, you guys, and I talk about seeing monsters when it's not true, but this time I swear I saw a monster.
What did it look like?
I don't know, Zach. Maybe this girl, this girl, Addison, maybe she's crying monster.
No, I believe her. She has a podcast talking about monsters. Would that face lie?
No, I guess not.
I don't even know what she looks like, but would that face lie?
I know what she looks like, and no.
He looked just like my librarian.
Oh, wait. What does he look like? Because he might be low-key me, because I just started volunteering at the library.
He looked just like my librarian, but then he started eating fistfuls of flies.
That just seems normal for a librarian, though. Is that like one of them new vegan diets?
Is that normal? Okay, eating flies would be very much the antithesis of a vegan diet.
Paleo, because what's more primal than shoving flies into your face hole?
Oh, it's natural. It's all free-range food, too.
I mean, guys, insects are a great source of protein. Like, actually, insects are a great source of protein.
They are, actually.
I've had scorpions on pizza, so...
I've eaten...
What?
What? We've never gone to LA County Fair?
The LA County Fair has scorpion pizza?
Yeah, they got everything.
I'm gonna reconsider my move to LA.
Oh yeah, if you do, I'll gladly take it to the LA County Fair. Though that was like a $12 slice of pizza.
Sounds good. I mean, no matter what city I move to, I'll be eating $12 pizza, so here we are.
So yeah, guys, this week we read The Girl That Cried Monster, and it is super spooky.
Very
It's real spooky. It's one of the spookier Goosebumps books. For me, it was growing up, and also I just think in general the earlier Goosebumps books are spookier because he hasn't started to get silly with it yet.
This is kind of one of those creepy concepts, just because I find this to be such a hidden gem that people don't really talk about, and I think it's horrifying. This book.
Well, also I think this one touches on a lot of real world fears. Like it's got a lot of like a lot of the classic like parents not believing you and like an authority figure not being what they seem to be, and like
what people do when they're not in the presence of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just like the sequence when he like basically makes her come into his house is like
no, she says no. She doesn't come into like no, thank you.
You know what I mean? Like he tries to get her to come into his house, and this is a grown man trying to bully a young girl into coming into his home, and that's creepy, even if he's not a monster, which he is.
Yeah,
especially like thinking like if you go by the cover, he looks even creepier. So it's like no, thank you. I don't want to be in the basement
With his little visor.
His little visor. So. Guys, she's got a monster of all problems.
Oh, man.
She's telling the truth, but no one believes her. Lucy likes to tell monster stories. She told so many that her friends and family are sick of it. Then, one day, Lucy discovers a real-life monster, the librarian in charge of the summer reading program. Too bad Lucy told so many monster tall tales. Too bad no one believes a word what she says. Too bad no one knows who she is, and it's coming after her next.
Oh, heck.
So,
So Addison, do you want to describe this cover?
Yeah, let's talk about this cover.
Yeah. Let's talk about this cover.
This is a cover.
This one is actually, I don't think they print this one anymore because it is not in my total Goosebumps collection that I have. So
Oh, really?
This is the first one of the Goosebumps OG series that I have not had a physical copy of.
Wait, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm sorry, it's just so much.
Just breathe it in and just spit it out.
I just feel like what we see here on this cover is I could only describe him as Newman from Seinfeld.
You're so right, though.
And he's looking at some bugs in a terrarium.
Newman.
And there's just a young child in the doorway watching him as he stares at some bugs in a terrarium.
He's holding one in his fingers and he's looking at it like, yeah.
See, no, I feel like if I were to put a caption between the fly and him, the fly would be like, save me, and he'd be like, you didn't say the magic word. So yeah, it's like this really, like, I would describe him like, in his younger life, he enjoyed My Little Pony.
Oh boy. And now he lives
in the library.
in the same apartment as Jerry Seinfeld.
With all of his, like, anime stuff and his...
Yeah, with his waifu pillow. Like I just said, they didn't do a reprint of this in the knots. I bet if they did, they'd swap that visor for a fedora.
There are 2 prints of this book. There's the 1993 and the 2003, and they're the same cover, but they're a different color scheme.
Well, the one I have is all purpley. Like, it's the...
Yeah, the purple one's the original one.
Yeah.
I looked it up to see if we had different covers, and the one I got from my library is the 2003 one, which is blue around the edges.
That's interesting. I guess because maybe it's the color variation of It's a Dark Room.
Yeah, it stands out more. I kind of like it because in the original one, the color of the little border around the bottom is the same color as the background in the picture. And it doesn't stand out very much, but the reprint with the blue color around the sides, it sort of draws you in more. Doesn't blend in.
I also like, for me, it's more distinctive because in the back there's like this orange color that makes Lucy pop out. So you can easily see that, oh no, this is our hero.
Also, the border color matches her shirt in the new reprint. They've brightened the blue of her shirt.
The funny thing I'm just noticing right now, the position of like his arm, it looks like it's something that would be out of like an airplane skit where it's just an arm that comes out at like an odd angle that shouldn't be coming out of like...
Yeah, that arm does not appear to belong to his body.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's like the arm's coming from the ceiling to give him something. Oh, thank you.
It looks like, so what we have here is we have Newman from Seinfeld having a conversation with the Thing from Addams Family, and there's a young blonde girl.
So what did you guys think of this book?
This is one of my favorites.
Yeah, no, this is one of those hidden gems that I wish more people liked and talked about, because it's really terrifying.
Like a lot of creepy undertones, but there's also like a lot of really good sort of... There's a lot of like real funny moments in this as well. Like,
oh my god, yes.
The main character Lucy, she's narrating the whole thing, and she's got a very dry sense of humor, which I really like am amused by her little like one-liners. Lucy's me, by the way, guys.
So life is a phase you're going through.
Yep.
Life is just a phase. So the book opens up and it's Lucy talking to her brother Randy.
And Randy's like 5 and he's stupid.
And Lucy just loves to scare Randy.
And she's telling him about the Timberland toe biter.
Oh my god, the toe biter.
Do you want to describe it, Addison? This is your expertise.
I mean, I don't know how much more detail you need other than the Timberland toe biter will bite your toes off.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And he did it to Lucy. Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, and she tries to, like, bury her toes, like, down in the dirt and pretend that it's bitten her toes off.
And, of course, the little boy falls for it. Randy falls for it.
Because he's an idiot child.
Because he's 5.
Oh, no, what happened? It's going to get me next. Because, was it the Timberland toe biter? They don't know how big it is because it just camouflages itself.
Yeah, it can be anywhere. And it's got a hunger for toes.
A rumbly and its tumbly that only toes can satisfy.
Yeah.
It needs a feast for feet.
A feet feast.
Yep.
A feast.
But I really quickly need to take a little tangent just because I don't think we've addressed that Lucy has one of the best names of any Goosebumps protagonist.
Lucy Dark.
Her name is Lucy Dark.
I mean, it's just as good as having someone from the Fia family.
Yeah, Robin Fear.
Oh man, Sarah Fear.
Like, if you have the last name Dark, you're automatically like, there's something up about you.
Yeah.
Like, there's Dr. Bloodfist Stone, and he seems like a nice guy. Dark, maybe not.
I mean, and her teacher, the librarian guy doesn't exactly have, like, a strange name either. He's got Mort right in there.
Yeah, Mr. Mortman. And it's like, there's a deleted scene from this book probably where she takes his, like, mail and she holds it up to, like, a mirror and the letters get all scrambled around and it spells out, I am Lord Voldemort.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the letter is actually for a Death Eater convention.
Yeah. Because
It's
you're
from-
right. Because Mort right there in the name, Mort Man, Death Man.
You know, I kept thinking of it. I might already apologize. I might keep calling it Mort Maine because I'm just still on that series of unfortunate events binge.
Yeah.
But-
Oh yeah, the Mort Main Mountains. I think in my mind sometimes like it is Mort Man, but sometimes I think Mort Maine.
Mort
Because yeah,
Maine?
the Mort Main Mountains.
Lucy's just getting really bored for the summer, and she does this super awesome reading summer program.
And she, like me, probably at that age, does not want to trifle with any books that are not about monsters. Yeah, she was reading Frankenstein, and she was happy with Frankenstein, and she goes back in.
Which she loved.
Oh no, this isn't the first book she reads is Huck Finn. And
No.
she's like, yeah, it was really good. Good descriptions. Nothing questionable about this book whatsoever. Yep.
No, but wasn't there a part where he goes, "How did you enjoy Black Beauty, Lucy?" And she goes, "It was kind of lame. I think the book would have been better if the horse had had more heads."
I think that's in the in the TV episode she reads Black Beauty. I don't think she reads Black Beauty in the book.
See, that just sounds like Pride and Prejudice with zombies. She'd, like, eat that up.
But she's like, does White Fang have a monster in it?
I mean, fair enough. Pretty sure I thought that when I was a kid too. And then I picked it up and I was like, oh, it's about a dog.
So Lucy's like, I'm going to read Frankenstein. I hope, people never get confused with the monster and the man.
I mean, the man is the monster.
That is one of the core philosophies of this show, Addison. Like, Zach and I have said that on multiple occasions, that Frankenstein's the doctor, but really deep down, he was the monster.
He was the monster.
Knowledge is knowing that Frankenstein is the doctor. Wisdom is knowing that Frankenstein is the monster.
Her parents are really sick and tired of her also telling monster stories because they keep scaring Randy.
Poor little Randy. Poor little Randy who never learns.
It's something that I never did to my sister, so I wish I kind of came up with this idea of telling monster stories.
Here's the thing. I'm an only child. Is that a thing? Do people just, like, torment their siblings?
Yeah,
I mean,
don't you get a punch card? I got a punch card as a kid.
I'm a younger sibling, and my sister at one point had me convinced that our dad was an alien.
Oh.
Because I was reading a book about aliens, and I said, my sister was babysitting me, and I said to her, Bree, Dad was born right the day after Roswell happened. The Roswell crash. Don't you think that's kind of funny? And Bree looks at me and goes, well, yeah, that's because he's an alien. It took him a day to fly to Pennsylvania from New Mexico and assume the identity of a human boy.
Can I come to your sister's house and just high-five her, and then that's the reason why I go to Australia?
Wait, that's so good. Oh my god, Meg.
Well, actually, no, my dad told her that he knew who shot JFK, but no one else knew. And then she passed that down to me.
Oh no, and then you open up the declassified files recently. Oh no, he was right. I gotta hide.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I don't really remember really messing with my sister, except, like, getting my sister in trouble for stuff that I did.
Oh,
So,
you jerk.
I know I'm a jerk. This is me as a shitty child, but I'm an adult now, and I still do the
I'm
same
glad
thing.
that I didn't have any siblings.
I also had a stepsister, and she would do the same
a
thing to me
cycle.
as well. So, it's kind of like the circle of life.
My family just got pets every time I asked for a brother or sister.
It's just like, why do we have like 16 cats and 14 dogs? I kept asking a lot.
Well, at one point in time we had, and I will list off the menagerie for you. At one point in time we did have a dog, 2 cats. No, I'm a liar. A dog, 3 cats, 2 rabbits, and a frog and 6 fish.
That is so majestic and pure.
We had a lot of animals. So Lucy cries monster all the time.
Oh yeah, no, she does. And the one person that kind of believes it, but not really, is actually their good old library friend, Mr. Mortman.
Not even Aaron believes her.
Aaron.
Oh, Aaron, Aaron, low-key is just like, another monster story. Gosh, we get
Aaron's like, oh, you're so full of shit.
Like, just imagine, if she was a kid now and just had Reddit at her fingertips. Oh my god.
I mean, Aaron doesn't say that because he's a character in a children's book, but you get it. He wants to.
But basically I've made a note that this book is a lot of pages of people telling Lucy to shut up. Basically, I've collected some things. Lucy, my dad burst angrily into the room. What is your problem? And then later on, she's asking about something. Is it about she's asking about White Fang. It's about a monster, I guessed. She laughed. No, Lucy. It's about a dog.
I mean, give her credit. She makes a lot of stories up, so...
She could become a novelist.
She could, or she's the type of person that reads her fan fictions and creative writing classes.
Yeah, she's a Tina Belcher. Here's the thing. In modern day, with the internet at her fingertips, Lucy would be like a popular creepypasta writer, I bet.
She would thrive in the internet age.
She would, well, I don't know. She could still be writing creepypastas right now as we speak.
If she was 12 when did this book come out? 94? She would be in her 30s now, so...
Unless her friends and family beat her imagination out of her by being mean to her every time she told a story.
Well, when you get to the ending of this book, that is very much not the case.
I know this. I didn't want to spoil the twist.
So good old Mr. Mothman, he...
Now seems like an appropriate time to remind you all that the second syllable of both this man's name and Newman from Seinfeld are the same.
Newman? Oh, is it? Oh, so good old Mr. Mothman, he actually has a big old tray of turtles, and...
They are!
That's just...
They're his friends.
They're his timid friends.
His timid friends.
His only friends, because the people in the My Little Pony fan club don't respect him anymore.
No, because you talk too much about his turtles.
It's just like, there should be turtles in My Little Pony. They should all be turtles now. And he's like, why don't you watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? He's like, no, I don't watch that weeaboo crap. It's not the same. They don't understand me like these turtles do.
Oh, God.
And he started sending them weird vor art of My Little Pony, and they were like, I don't want this.
Oh, God.
Why must this...
I'm sorry, too soon to talk about how much Mr. Mortman likes to eat animals, eat things?
I mean, true, he does. She catches him eating all of these animals. It is very disgusting.
And she's, because first she forgets her skates in the library, so she comes back and...
Her blades, Zach. Oh no, my blades. I left them at the library.
Oh no, she's not going to shred it home like she was supposed to. So she goes back and she sees Mr. Mortman. He's actually starting to feed his little turtles. And then he starts...
His timid friends,
yes. And this is a very timid scene because he starts literally eating flies by the handful.
Like they're candy.
And I just imagine, just because... The way to describe him, first off, is that he's always wet all the time. Like, he gets, the meat...
Yeah, he's like a weird greasy boy.
Yeah, no, it's like, he has, the meat sweats all the time. Like, he just...
Oh, yeah, ugh.
He's that ineffectual villain from Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, Moist.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Actually, I thought of that, or I thought of, I just always felt like he was, super slimy. But then again, because I go to Comic-Con a lot, I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's just some regular weird guy. But
he's just
a damp man.
He's just a damp man. But he's
man.
You see him starting to eat all these flies, and it's really gross.
He just has hyperhidrosis, and he's on a paleo diet. You guys are judgy as hell.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Except for the part where he physically turns into a monster, so his head narrows up and his eyes pop out to look kind of mushrooms. It's a really weird description.
Yeah, and he has a gaping black maw of a mouth.
Which is a horrifyingly Lovecraftian way to describe anything.
I love it so much.
It's so good.
Oh my god, the Eldritch horror as he opened up his void of a maw. The horror struck me hard. I didn't know how to feel. And then we talked about 1920 stuff for a little bit, and it took about 10 pages. And then
Typical Lovecraft book.
yeah, typical Lovecraft.
You right.
That's our hot take.
I do love, you're right though. I do still to this day use the phrase maw. Like gaping maw.
It's a creepy word.
Yeah, some more eldritch things happen, and Lucy gets out of there. But there's one problem: the door is locked.
Oh no!
Good thing she didn't look down. She just screwed it, like the knob thing, and yeah, she left.
Classic Goosebumps fake out ending where it's like, oh no, the door's locked. Nah.
I got this. It's unlocked, and she starts shredding it out of there, and she turns around to see Mr. Mortman looking at her.
Or did he see her, or did he not?
Yeah, he just saw some other radical kid.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. My favorite thing about Goosebumps books, and it's also the thing that enrages me about them, is just the over and over and over again fake outs, which are basically, they're supposed to be cliffhangers, but what they are is R.L. Stine just lying to children.
Yeah. It's always something like, oh no, the door was locked. And then on the next page, it's like, jokes, nah.
Funny enough, that's actually on Mr. R.L. Stine's business cards. I lie to children.
Or just the ones that are like, the ones that end like a chapter ends with, and I knew I was going to die.
And then I didn't die.
And then the next chapter, they're just like, just kidding.
But then that's when, so she goes home and she hides in her room, and then that's where there's another fake out ending where the door opens up and it's her dad.
Yep. And she tries to tell her parents she saw Mr. Mortman turn into a monster. And she tries to convince everybody. And at this point, not even Randy is putting up with her.
Randy is 5 and he is already tired. He's so tired.
He's too busy playing his Super Nintendo.
He's too busy watching a cartoon.
Yeah,
A cartoon.
But Randy, leave me alone, he whined. I'm watching a cartoon.
And reading his Archie comics.
My actual favorite, did you mean High School Harry and Beanhead?
Yeah.
If this was now, it'd be like, shh, Randy, can't you be quiet, Lucy? I'm trying to watch Riverdale right now.
Here's the thing, one of my other favorite things about R.L. Stine books in general, but especially the Goosebumps books, is when they can't use any branded anything, so they have to just say, I'm dressed up as a superhero, or I'm watching a cartoon.
But yeah, they can reference the Terminator and Super Nintendo.
Yeah, they reference the Terminator constantly.
I know in one book they're talking about Friday the 13th.
Yeah, and Ferengis from Star Trek.
Yeah, so it's such a weird combination of like, they can say Friday the 13th and talk about that exact existing movie, but they can't say what superhero someone's dressed as. There's like, I don't remember which book it's in, but it's one of the Halloween ones where they're like, such and such was dressed up as a superhero.
It was the pumpkin one.
Oh, the Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns?
That's one of my favorites.
It's a great one.
So then good old their parents have to leave, and that's when there's a knock at the door, and it turns out it's Mr. Mortman, and he has Lucy's backpack.
Oh,
You
no.
left your- Well, how do you think he talks, guys? I know that there's a TV episode, but like if you could have your ideal voice.
Oh, he talks like
mean-
George R. R. Martin.
I mean, I can only hear Newman now.
I kind of hear like again like George R. R. Martin, like a guy that's like just has like a really big fat voice like this, or he talks like Mr. Plinkett. Oh, oh no. So Lucy, oh my, why am I doing Don Berg?
I don't know, it's good though. I mean,
Whatever
okay,
voice
no,
that
you know
is,
what, so he's like-
it's unsettling.
So Lisa's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, Lucy, you forgot your backpack at the library, and luckily it has your address and your social security number in it. And
yeah, I don't think his voice is wet enough. I need a wetter voice.
I don't have water.
Stranger
Do you,
Things.
do you have a water
Could
voice?
you moisten it up for me?
Oh, I'll moisten it up for you. Now he talks.
Lucy, I found your backpack. I can't. It's gone.
Lucy, I found right. Lucy, I can't do
I
it.
found your backpack at the. I'm just making horrible.
And
mouth sounds
I'm
now.
just sitting here cringing.
Oh, I was thinking about SpongeBob.
Oh, Bubble Bass.
Oh yeah, Bubble.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he looks like Bubble Bass
Bubble
too.
Bass. He's Bubble Bass. That's his voice.
I'm sorry, there's no pickles.
Ugh.
Yeah, so the moral of the story is Lucy forgot her backpack and she has her address in it. She's like, oh, just leave the backpack there. Oh no, can I come in and just give it to you? And like, no thanks, just says there. Parents come home in the mommobile. The good old mommobile.
Yeah, that scene was pretty creepy.
Well, yeah, because it's one thing is it's between like a really thin screen door. Like, oh, I wish that I didn't open the door that he was there because then he wouldn't know that I was home. And then I told him that I was home alone.
Well, it's that classic like the killer knows where you live moment.
Yeah, like that's a real life fear moment right there. That's one of them. That's one of the moments in this book that I think a lot of the later books don't have that's, like, genuinely really dark.
Yeah, because once again, she accidentally tells him that she's home alone with her brother and that her parents might be home in, like, hours.
Like, that's scary.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do anything because he's an idiot monster, and...
No, but he could. And that's the fear.
That's the tension.
Yeah, and she knows that he's a monster.
And no one believes her.
Yeah. And it's only as you get older, I think, that moments like that become scarier, because it's already scary when you're a kid, but when you get older, you're like, oh shit, it doesn't even matter if he's a literal monster, like eating flies and having mushroom eyes and all that stuff, and a gaping maw. It's still scary.
And honestly, I can relate to this experience, and I have firsthand experience with how terrifying this is, because many a time, because on a Thursday, my mom goes to she does like casual work at a special needs school in our area, and so she leaves in the morning, and then my dad is usually at work in the city, and many a time both of them have been gone, and then they've forgotten to tell me that like the meter reader's coming or somebody's coming to like fix the lights in the kitchen or something like that. So like some random ass guy will come up and knock on the door, and I will just freak out every time.
Oh, that stuff like that is terrifying, especially when you know that like no one should be at your door.
Yeah.
I
mean, like, for me, it's like, oh, they'll come to the door and they'll be like, I need you to sign for a package, or I'm here to read the electricity meter, or I'm here to fix your plumbing. And because my parents have forgotten to tell me that someone's coming, I'm like, is this real, or are you putting me on? Is this some kind of scam so you can come into my house, kill me, and take all my things?
Yeah, usually for me, they just ring the doorbell and they're like, hello. My name is Elder Price.
And I would like to share with you this most amazing book.
I'm like, oh no.
Here's the thing, like, as someone who, before I went off to college, my mom told me all about how Ted Bundy used to fake having an injury to get people to, like, trust him and like, go into his van with him. I don't trust strangers. I just, like, especially when they're telling me a normal request like that. So
my mom does that, too.
House,
my mom is always like, you gotta keep the gate locked. You've gotta make sure that nobody comes onto the property. You've gotta lock all the doors. And also, I'm just gonna forget to tell you that we've got tradesmen coming to the house. And I've told you all this stuff about, like, how there's a lot of robberies in this neighborhood. But then I don't tell you when there's somebody coming to the house. That's fine. Just, like, build up the paranoia and just let it fester.
Yeah, so then a couple days go by, and Lucy's really trying to convince Erin and her parents that Mr. Mortman's a monster. No, not just a monster, a literal monster.
Erin's like, well, Pixar didn't happen.
Pixar is like, fine, let's get some pics together. I'm going to get my friend Jimmy Olsen, and I'm going to go to the Daily Bugle, and we're going to get these pictures to, defraud Spider-Man.
Get me the pictures of Spider-Man.
J. Jonah Jameson says, I don't want excuses, I want pictures of Spider-Man. And by Spider-Man, they mean this man who literally eats spiders. Anyway, okay.
Oh no, so my favorite part about this, though, is that she convinces Erin, but by bribing him to come with her to the library after it closes to see this man literally turn into a monster. And it's like, wow, that's a lot of money, so I guess we'll go. It's like, you should pay me in advance, though, winky face.
Also, we should remember that Aaron just got his braces.
Oh yeah, he just got his braces. So good old Lucy comes to the library right after school, and Erin doesn't show up. She had brought her brand new camera that her parents had bought them, a really expensive one too. She's waiting and waiting and waiting, and Erin doesn't come.
Well, he did just get his braces, Meg.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that is quite a traumatic experience.
Like, it actually, I don't know if you're being sarcastic, but it is.
No, I got my braces when I was 8. I have no memory of getting braces. But I know I had them
when
at
I
one
was
point.
14, and it was rough.
My nephew had to get an expander before he could get his braces on, so but it went too far, so he ended up with a gap tooth, and he told me that all of his friends at school started calling him SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh no!
But now he's got braces, and they've pushed the teeth back together, so he looks fine now.
Good, but that's so sad.
So Lucy decides to go back in, and she's ready. She's gonna get the scoop of a lifetime, and the people leave the library. Mr. Mortman closes the library up, and then...
I'm sorry, it's pronounced library?
Oh, no, I've said it wrong my entire life. Oh, heavens to Betsy. And she sees Mr. Mormon starting to eat the flies and stuff, and he starts kind of turning into a monster, but she's like, okay, I'm going to lean out and take this picture.
But the flash alerts him to her location.
Oh, heck.
Idiot brain. A flash, and he doesn't turn around. It's like, oh, who's there? Ooh boy. So,
oh man.
So they have this really creepy epic chase with 80 synth music through.
Yeah, it's very Velociraptors in the Kitchen-esque.
Yeah, so you see Mr. Mormon actually sees a reflection of a girl, and he runs headfirst right into it. And then Lucy's just about to get out. She's trapped when all of a sudden a T-Rex bursts out of nowhere, even though it couldn't have possibly have come into this library. Mr. Mortman. Oh, wait, that didn't happen.
As the banner falls, it says, take a look, read a book, reading Rainbow.
Oh, yeah, and then,
Exactly.
Mr. Mortman has, the world's greatest roar from anything ever.
Yep.
It's so good.
But that was just a dream that just a couple, Lucy's life flashing before her eyes, but she's able to get out of the library again and book it all the way home. She actually missed Jonathan Byers on the way there as he was taking pictures of the Demigorgon, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. I was gonna say what we just experienced was another classic Jovial Bob fake out.
Yep. Jovial Bob Stein.
So
Jovial Bob Stein.
So she runs all the way home and nothing happens except that she really needs to get these pictures developed. But
luckily, they're all going out for dinner.
I missed that. I was just thinking about all the times I used to go to this pharmacy just to get these photos because did you guys ever have a bunch of disposable cameras?
Yes, I was just gonna say. Do you guys remember you'd go away on a holiday or when you went to camp or something and you would
yes, I was just gonna say
you would get at the airport or the shopping center or wherever you were, you'd get a disposable camera, take it with you, take a bazillion pictures, and then just drop it off at the photo place.
Yeah, a pharmacy, and they'd always develop them. And all the people that are older than us are just groaning right now, oh God, oh God, oh. We get it, we're young.
When I was a kid, I used to do theater camp, and every year I would bring disposable cameras and take a bunch of pictures of just meaningless stuff. And
for me, I thought I was low-key thought I was Andy Warhol and took pictures of completely nothing except Campbell's soup cans.
Yep, thought I was Annie Leibovitz taking beautiful artsy portraits of people and it comes back and it's a blurry picture of someone's left elbow.
Yeah, it's I just always think of the people that had to develop these photos, just the pain and suffering of just seeing really bad photos all day.
Yeah.
Gosh, remember back in the day when people had to develop their nudes at a photo develop place?
There's a Reddit post all about this where people
just
talk about
painstakingly write the address of the person that the nude was for and then send it away in the post and then wait for a response.
I mean, isn't there an episode of Seinfeld with something like this, or did I dream that?
I don't remember.
Or did I write that in my Seinfeld fan fiction?
It's in this. It's low key. Probably.
I think there is one where George sends a boudoir photo to somebody.
I think there is. Yeah. Luckily, the family is going out to dinner at
the Chinese place at the mall.
So I was thinking it's P.F. Chang's, but I'm no, it's probably the Panda Express.
Are they going to the food court at the mall for their family dinner?
No, but don't shopping centers have the mall closest to me has an actual proper Chinese restaurant in
Ours does, but no, they're actually going to a physical mall. They're not going to a shopping center.
They're not at a strip mall. They're at or a shopping center. They're in a mall.
They're going to the food court.
Yeah, it is a mall. It's it's what you would call a mall.
Well, it's just funnier if it's a mall.
I don't know.
Just a lot.
I think I think they are eating their family dinner in a food court across from an Orange Julius.
At the just going to the Chinese takeaway and getting those kind of like spring rolls and prawn crackers.
Yeah, no, because what is it? Because their dad complains about how soggy everything is and how depressing their food is.
Oh man.
And he's just like, oh man, they like completely like scammed me out of like an egg roll and like a wonton.
Well, then just like walk 2 meters over to the Macca's, which is right next to the Chinese takeaway.
It's like, I guess for dessert, guys, we can go get wiener on a stick.
Yeah, go to that weird pizza place that sells like one giant slab of pizza that they just carve off of.
Oh yeah, and then right afterwards they can go to Wetzel's Pretzels and get like pretzel bites.
I'm sorry, I think you mean Auntie Anne's pretzels because that's where the best pretzels are.
I'm sorry, did I stutter?
You know, we don't have that, like, I know which pizza thing you're talking about. Like, I remember it now, but we don't have those here. And so what I was just imagining is when you said a large slice of pizza that they carve off, I'm imagining, like, you know doner kebab, where it's, like, the big roll of meat on a rotating stick? It's that, but it's a pizza, and they just shave off a small, like, I'm just imagining, like, a giant, like, cylindrical pizza that they just shave slices off of.
Yes, please. No, just give me the whole...
Yeah, I can...
Just for me, that'd be in heaven. Just grab that thing and run.
They're doing family dinner at the mall because their domestic life is going great.
Yeah.
No, it's like, guys, next they're going to open up an Applebee's. I can't wait to get them jalapeno poppers.
Yep, and so they're going to develop... It's great when you can develop photos during your family dinner.
Yeah.
Right afterwards, they're going to go to the Dollar Theater because the regular movie theater is way too expensive.
You laugh at the idea of going to develop your photos while you're having dinner, but, like, my mom and I always go to, and, like, right next door to it is a supermarket, and so every time we go to that restaurant, my mom will, like, hand me a shopping list and some money and be like, go next door and buy some stuff.
See, actually, you know what they probably do? They're going to do right after the mall? They're going to go to Blockbuster Video.
Oh, yeah, because it's the 90s.
They're going to go to Blockbuster Video. And they're going to get that movie candy at the checkout.
Yeah.
God. But unfortunately, it's a Friday night, so it was too busy. But luckily, Lucy got her photos. And she went to go, like, look at them, and they're all, like, the blurry photos. And because they're all from...
Because he's a cryptid. But then doesn't she say something like, it proves it because monsters don't show up in pictures or something ridiculous?
Yeah, vampires don't show up in pictures either. So that's why I'm afraid of, like, a vampire invasion in space.
I mean, like, if there was, like, a coffee cup floating in the photo, maybe that's an argument you could make.
But there was nothing.
It's just a photo of nothing.
Like, just imagine, like, he's holding, like, the jar of flies and stuff. That disappeared, too. Does that mean the jar is a monster?
No, it means Lucy's a bad photographer.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Or she's the world's greatest photographer and, you know, she got a picture of a vampire as well. I just, like, my greatest fear is that there's going to be a vampire invasion, not from Earth, but from space, because all our telescopes involve mirrors for the most part. So.
Don't spook me like this, Zach.
They're coming for us. They're coming in like they're flying coffin saucers.
Don't say these things.
There's no crosses in space or garlic. No one can hear you scream.
I, for one, welcome our new space vampire overlords.
What was the thing you said, Zach? What was the thing you said in Undead Express that just ended me?
Oh, you mean vampire blood doesn't melt steel beams?
Yes!
Oh, no.
It's a conspiracy, and it goes back all the way to the girl who cried monster.
Wait, but what does vampire breath do? Oh, goosebumps,
Oh,
bringing
you
it back.
can't. It's a terrible narcotic. It's been ruined in the streets for years. Vampire breath, turning good vampires bad.
Shit.
The parents still don't believe her, even though she has this really convincing photo.
Her very convincing photo.
Her extremely convincing photo, and she says, "Oh, Mom, that he came to the house while you guys were away, and he gave me my backpack." And they were like, "Oh, is that so? Well, that was very nice of him. We're gonna invite him over for tea."
Oh no, that's not what happens.
And he's
there's,
like,
there's.
"Oh, that's at the end." I'm jumping ahead because I love the ending so much. I'm
Did he
rare
eat
to
the
talk
eel
about
yet?
it.
Oh no. Okay, so
No, he eats the turtle.
Yeah, no. So Randy decides we're gonna do this.
His friend.
His friend. So yeah,
His
no.
timid
So
friend.
Randy decides I gotta get this again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow him home. So what happens is she decides to stay in the library again for the third time, and she sees Mr. Mortman turn into a monster again, but instead of eating flies, she eats a whittled turtle.
One
His
of
timid
his friends.
Well, that one didn't agree with him.
Oh shoot! They had a disagreement. They had a fight.
He was. I'll tell you what happened. He put up he put out like a message in the group chat that was like, guys, where do you want to meet up and go out for dinner? And then the turtle responded with just the thumbs up emoji. I hate it when people do that.
Oh yeah, and then you also put K.
If you ask somebody a question, don't just respond with yes.
Yes. Okay.
Unless that's the answer to the question.
Like, do you want to do this or this? Yes.
I don't know. I know it's more like he asked, so guys, where do you want to go eat? I don't care. I don't know. I don't care. It's like that.
Ugh.
And he just ate the turtle, except Lucy made a slight gasp, and Mr. Mormon turns around, and he sees her, and he starts coming after her. So that's when, like, again, the synth music starts playing.
I'm imagining like a turtle leg just hanging out of his mouth.
You know, actually, the interesting thing about that scene was originally was supposed to be children's bones.
Wait, really?
What, really?
Yeah, Scholastic was... Yeah, because it makes no sense in this book. Like, why does he eat turtles instead of why he doesn't eat Lucy? Because Scholastic was like, Stein, you can't have this. You can't have him eating children bones.
Wait, but there was like an extended scene of people eating bones in Welcome to Dead House. So it was okay then, but it's not okay now?
Yeah. That's true. Welcome to Dead House was the first one, and that was coming right off of him writing for older audiences.
So yeah, so that was the original publication, was that it was supposed to be him eating children's bones, so it would make more sense that he would eat Lucy.
Yeah, because I was going to say, that's the thing that's always confused me a lot about why, I mean, obviously it's a little scary, but like, we have no reason to believe he bears her any ill will.
No, because he just wants to eat his creepy turtles in peace.
Yeah, and she just keeps like creeping on him, taking pictures of him eating his turtles and stuff.
Because like, not to be like the weird vegetarian for a second, but like, is it really that different to eat a turtle than like it is to eat a chicken?
Meat is murder.
No, it's not at all.
I'm not saying it's bad. I just am not a person who eats meat, so I don't really like give me like a genuine perspective. Is it really that different?
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with you because I'm basically on the opposite side of the spectrum. I think that I'm not a very vegetarian, but I would not like turn my nose up at any kind of meat just on like the principle that I don't think that any animal has inherently more right to not get eaten. I mean, no, and when you think about it, the things that he's eating when he's at his house is a turtle and fish and an eel. All of those things are things that people eat. Like, turtle soup is a thing.
And people eat bugs, and people eat eel. I've eaten eel. When I was a kid, I've eaten eel. Oh, really quick, wait, have either of you seen Over the Garden Wall?
I love... I just had this tweet yesterday, but yes, I love Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah, the witch eats turtles.
Ooh, that might be an Easter egg. Ooh.
Maybe she's Mr.
The
Morton.
turtles in the barrel.
The turts that they're gonna burgle.
We're gonna burgle. You're just, oh, Lorna, it was the turtles that smelled so delicious.
Yes.
Oh, I love you, Over the Garden Wall. I just got the huge art book for it, so I've been like reading through it. It is the best art book I have ever seen.
It's so good. But anyway, we have no reason to believe. It's good to know that the original draft was darker because I have no reason to believe rationally that Mr. Mortman wants to do her any harm.
He hasn't even made like a joke about eating kids at some point in the way that like monsters in kids stories, like there's no moment where he's like, I'll grind your bones to make my bread or whatever.
Fee fi fo fum, you're gonna go to giant jail.
No, he literally just has a slightly weird diet.
He's raw paleo.
So what this book is really about so far is just a judgmental child who makes like false judgments about a man who happens to eat different and look a little weird.
Yeah.
Oh no, God! The monster was really Lucy all along.
The monster was Lucy and her weird speciesism.
Yeah.
So Mr. Mortman's now following and chasing her, and she gets to a dead end, which had filing cabinets with, catalog cards. And she's like, oh no. And Mr. Mormon is like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna eat you. And
there we go.
Except he defo doesn't say that, right?
And it doesn't say that.
Yeah.
Lucy implies. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a bookcase falls. And that gives Lucy enough time to get out of there. And she finds out that it's Aaron. Aaron is the one that had seen Mr. Mormon turn into a monster, as well as Aaron seeing it. And now he believes her. So they run as fast as they can. They can't catch Lucy because plot.
She's the
Nobody can.
No one can.
No, yeah,
Because
no.
Mr. Mortman can't.
She's running around at the speed of sound.
Yeah.
Gotta go fast.
So they get home and like, Mom, Dad, I got proof. Aaron over here can test for me. There's another $10 I gave him. And like, oh, heavens to
Where
Betsy.
is she getting this money? All right, whatever.
But it's like, oh, heavens to Betsy. I guess we can invite Mr. Mortman over for a good old brunch. Or, we can all go dinner, brunch,
It's a meal. I don't know.
sup. They're going to sup.
Maybe they're being real British with it. They're having him over for tea time.
Yeah, tea time. And they're like,
Oh, man, I could go for high tea right now.
oh, gee, Willikers. So they take, like, Mr. Mortman comes over for a malt and a sandwich.
And he says, and he's this is the part I was waiting to talk about the entire episode, because this is what makes this book. Mr. Mortman says, "What's for dinner?" And the dad says,
You.
You are.
And then their mom and dad start growing fangs, and they eat him in 2 gulps.
And then they eat him.
Like, how horrific do you think that could possibly be? Like, in my head, I'm like, this could be horrific, like, almost like American Psycho bloody, or like
No, I think they vor him.
double vor.
Vorception.
I'm thinking they just swallow him whole vor style because the family that vors together does more together. I don't
But they
know.
gotta share. They split him in half and then they vor. It's the Kit Kat of voring.
Wait. What if they Lady and the Tramp him?
Okay, that's canon now.
They definitely Lady and the Tramp him.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's a voring.
I just imagine, like, he gets there, it's like, there's just a bunch of newspaper on the floor, but do you have, like, a dog or something?
No.
No. Do you like Huey Lewis in the news?
I was just gonna say, do you like Huey Lewis in the news?
So they eat him, and it turns out that Lucy, or her parents who don't have names, and Randy are all monsters themselves.
Well, Lucy and Randy have not finished their transformation yet. Yeah, they're in like the larval stage where they just look like humans.
I guess they're higher on the monster food chain than Mr. Mortman.
Also, they have to like kill any other monster that lives in the area to protect their identity somehow, which is just that's the law of the jungle.
Yeah, you can't have someone trying to surpass the food chain.
No, you can't have somebody eating all the turtles.
No. They got, I want to say this is like they're in like Minnesota or somewhere really bland and boring where there's people that will just go missing, but they're still flavorful.
Yeah, because they eat a lot of hot dish.
They eat a lot of hot dish.
Oh yeah, they eat a lot of hot dish.
What is hot dish? Explain this to me, an Australian.
It's like a tater tot casserole thing.
And also they get plenty of cheese whiz. And
They do get plenty of cheese
cheese
whiz.
whiz, yeah.
I was gonna say hot dish. There's a lot of different recipes for hot dish, so I'm gonna look up classic hot dish right now.
I just want
And
to
I'll tell
see
you-
if this like has some ridiculous
Okay,
name
it's
that we call
kind
it.
of like if shepherd's pie had tater tots on top instead of mashed potatoes.
Oh, you mean
Okay.
sign me up?
Yeah, it's kind of like shepherd's pie but with tater tots on top.
Okay.
Like it's ground beef, cheese, green beans.
Speaking of which, how good are tater tots, guys?
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
But that's not the most important part, because I had to actually physically write this in my second copy of this book, because I got sad, was good old Aaron comes and is like, hey guys, what's for dessert?
You
Ew. Like cherry
pie.
pie. And then I love how, okay, in the show,
And then he holds up the pie and they all laugh.
I love how in the show, like, they fake turn to the camera like it's like a 50s show.
Yeah.
And they all have those shit-eating grins on their face.
This is not the ending of the book that we get, but it is the ending that we deserve.
Yeah, because it's so much better of an ending.
It's so much funnier. Because in this one,
so funny.
she just ends it by, like, telling another scary story to Randy.
That just raises a question for me. Why is Randy so scared of monsters when he literally knows his parents are?
Because he's a child. Okay, if you look here, let me just put my Sydney Wildlife hat on. Even animals who are predated upon will they'll eat the babies of their predators. Like possums eat owl eggs, and
What?
some of them do. Yeah, they steal eggs
That's
for the
so
protein.
dark.
They eat the protein, and with stuff like tigers, a tiger will eat the babies of another tiger because they kill the babies, and then the female goes back into heat.
So what you're telling me is that to monsters lower on the food chain like Mr. Mortman, Randy might be a tasty, tasty owl egg.
Yes, and he might, it is very, very common in the animal world.
Mr. Mormon's trying to get swole with that protein.
Yeah, and snakes will eat eagle eggs too, and kookaburra eggs, but kookaburras and eagles eat snakes, so...
Did you say eagle eggs or evil eggs?
Eagle. There's no such thing as an evil egg.
Well,
Actually,
unless it's the egg monster from Mars, but that's a different
No, it's
story.
not
They
egg
were
monsters
really
from Mars.
nice.
They were, weren't they? They were nice eggs.
They were nice eggs.
They kept
good
him
eggs.
warm by making themselves into a blanket.
Aw.
Yes.
Good old Free Willy. But yeah, so the book ends on a very unhappy ending, and it has one of the greatest twists because you would never see it coming until the very
It's one of
end.
my favorite twists.
It's one of the best Goosebumps twists, but I gotta say that the number one best Goosebumps twist is still and will always be they're turning into dogs, but they were dogs the whole time.
Oh, no!
Oh my god, my hairiest adventure.
I cannot
sorry.
wait. I swear to God, the day that we do the My Hairiest Adventure, I will finish up that podcast. I will go down to the tattoo parlor and I will get the words "they were dogs the whole time" tattooed onto my arm.
Okay, folks, you hear that? It's now audio, so it's staying there.
The contract is sealed.
The contract is sealed.
But yeah, I like this book. It was really creepy.
I love it. I think this is a really creepy one.
Lucy has now surpassed Andy from Monster Blood as my favorite Goosebumps protagonist.
Lucy is my favorite protagonist. I think if only for the phrase "life is a phase I'm going through."
We didn't even mention that. There's a bit where the parents are like, Lucy, I hope this scary monster story thing you do is just a phase. And she looks at her mom and goes, Mom, life is a phase I'm going through. And then the narration after that is really funny because it's like, I thought my mom would appreciate the joke, but she clearly didn't.
And then afterwards, they play it off in like a penny whistle version of My Chemical Romance.
What about the part where they're making meatballs and she's like, all they care about is their stupid meatballs?
Yes!
She's pre-edgelord.
She has such a good, she's probably got the best sense of humor of any Goosebumps protagonist.
Yeah. Lucy would have such a good Tumblr, you guys.
Oh no, she would just shitpost all day.
Yeah, she would have such a good Tumblr.
Quality monster shit posting.
I'm here for that. That's my favorite thing. You said my favorite words all together and you summoned me. Hello, it's me.
Once again, as we established before, Lucy being if Lucy was the age that she was in this book now, if this book had been written now, she would have been the coolest kid. She would have thrived on the internet.
She would have been too powerful. Thanks, Addison, for coming on the show. We really appreciate you getting spooky scary with us.
Oh, thank you for having me on the show. Getting spooky scary is what I do best, I think, or it's what I like to do the best. I said it and then I questioned it.
You definitely are very good at being spooky scary.
Thank you. And I have a skeleton inside my body at all times, piloting the meat suit. That is me.
It's gotta get out. Let him out.
I can't let him
Free
out.
the skeleton!
He'll have no muscles to move around.
Or it's gonna be the greatest thing in the world, it trying to survive. Or it's gonna be if you've ever seen the movie The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra, where you're just someone's back the entire time, and it's just...
The thing you're telling me about must not exist. There's no way this is a real thing.
What?
The Lost Skeleton of what? What is
The
this?
Lost Skeleton of Cadavra.
That is not a thing.
Yes, it is. How many you want to bet?
Google it.
I don't.
It's a
Google
spoof movie on 50s sci-fi movies.
Oh, if it's a spoof, that makes sense. Okay,
But yeah,
okay.
in the movie, there's the skeleton that's literally a skeleton they physically bought at a prop store. And he doesn't move or anything except for this one part that you can literally see the strings.
I love him.
And all he does is insult people all day.
That's my favorite boy.
That's me. I'm a skeleton that doesn't move and insults people all day.
Yes.
Same. Yeah, no, seriously though, thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun. I like to talk about Goosebumps. Please, Meg and I need to yell about the haunting hour.
Oh, it's a pleasure. If you ever
No.
want to come on ever again, you're more than welcome
Oh,
to.
we would love to have you back.
Also, just in general, like Goosebumps, any kind of Goosebumps talk, like hit me up in the future because Goosebumps shaped so much of me
Definitely.
as a human being. They were the first books I
think that is why we're all here, isn't it, at the end of the day? Because we just love Goosebumps.
Yeah, they were the first chapter books I read. I remember the first time I ever couldn't finish a book because I was so scared was Welcome to Dead House, which was not the first Goosebumps book I read. I read them out of order like a rebel.
Well, I guess Goosebumps forged me. I didn't read a Bone Chillers until I was a man.
Yes, and I actually still get weirdly nervous when I play with Silly Putty because it reminds me of Monster Blood.
Except when you push it down and make the farty sounds. It's like, this isn't that bad.
It's not that bad, but then what if it just keeps growing and growing and growing?
Well, then you basically have struck gold and you can start making Silly Putty even cheaper.
You just like scoop them up into little bags and sell them to people.
It's true, but what if when it starts eating and eating? Anyway.
Well, then you just package it as the stuff and you'll be fine.
Ugh, you're so right.
Yeah. So, Meg, what are we reading next week?
Zach, I
Yes?
hope you got your 3-park super pass because we're going back to Fear Park for the final Scream.
Oh my god. I'm going to have to tell Gunther. Oh, wait.
Gunther's dead, and we killed him.
I know we did. It's not my fault, though. The lions, it's not my
They tell
fault
you
he
to
spilled
do
barbecue
things?
sauce on himself before falling in to the lion pit. Why did he have to season himself? That fool!
His only crime was being born delicious.
Oh my god. So you ready to hear a joke from good old jovial Bob Stein?
Lay it
I'm
on
always
me.
ready for a joke from Jovial Bob Stein.
What time is it when Godzilla sits on your watch?
What time is it?
Time to get a new watch.
You watch. Oh!
I love you, jovial Bob Stein. Can you come to all of
I
our
love
parties?
Jovial Bob.
That classic
Jovial
jovial
Bob.
Bob wit.
Like, oh, that's so solid.
Oh, it's so good. So, Addison, where can they find you?
Oh, just wanted to say if Godzilla sits on your watch, then your watch isn't, like, you can't see your watch anymore. You're dead. Anyway, people can find me on the internet. People can find me on Twitter at Addison_Peacock. That's ADDISON_ and then PEACOCK, like the bird. That's also how I am on Instagram. And I am on the Cryptid Keeper. I'm a co-host of that. That's at CryptKeepPod on Twitter, and then also wherever you download podcasts. And I'm on the No Sleep podcast and on a lot of other things you can find out about on my Twitter. And if you want to tweet at me to tell me that I'm not funny, that's okay. I already know. Please don't tweet at me and tell me I'm not funny. Okay.
She's a peacock. You gotta let her fly.
It's funny because peacocks are notoriously bad at flying.
But they're very good at yelling. They're very, very good at yelling.
They yell like a child in distress, which
They
is what I
do.
am.
They do. Every zoo in this country has peacocks just like wandering around randomly, and they always yell.
Eating your children, throwing them in the lion pits. You know how it
You
is.
want to know a really quick, fun, sad fact about peacocks?
What?
What is it?
Well, it's not really a fact about peacocks in general, just two particular peacocks. A neighbor of my family, they have a farm, and they once had two peacocks that they named after my parents. They named Richard and Regina after my parents, and then Richard was eaten by foxes.
Oh no.
And Regina was a widow.
That's an ill omen if ever I heard of one.
As of now, my father is safe. It has not been eaten by foxes.
Thank goodness.
You get like a phone call right now. He fought off foxes. Still not dead.
But yeah, that's just a fun little story for y'all.
What does the fox say?
Don't do this to me, Zach.
Oh, I'll do it to you, but I don't even know.
We buried that meme with our own hands. We saw it die.
I didn't see it die. You saw it
I
die.
lied to its mother's face about its death.
So Meg, where can they find you?
I am at Meg Tuden on Twitter. That's at MEGTUTEN. And I am also on Tumblr. I am sodasodabanana.tumblr.com. And you can find me on Redbubble. Just search for Megan Tuden, MEGHANTUTEN. You can find Nightmare on Beer Street merchandise there. Where can they find you, Zach?
If you want to find me on Twitter, that's at Suda41. That's SUDA. If you want to message our show, you can email us at nightmareandfearstreet@gmail.com. If you want to follow our show on Twitter, that's at nightfearstreet. And if you want to find some spooky bonus content, such as us, patronizing people that eat things that are different, us, like babies, children, and everything in between, you can follow us on Patreon on patreon.com/nightmareandfearstreet. Well, I'm Zach.
I'm Meg.
And I'm Addison.
And stay
spooky.
Stay spooky.
Bye.
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 Oh no, I'm delicious.